There we are, we came with a vision, a goal, and we have a mission. So as long as we are...
We came with a vision, a goal, and we have a mission. Welcome to One Africa Mission with your brother Dobia Anzanse. This was so deep coming from Captain Traore. We came with a vision, a goal, and we have a mission. What is your mission and what is your vision for the continent of Africa? As an African, when you wake up and you see all over the world, the children of Africa are being disrespected everywhere. We are at the bottom of the human race, at the ladder. What is your vision for Africa? How do you envision Africa in the next 20 years? Captain Traore is asking you, and he said, we came with a vision, a goal, and we have a mission. Join our mission, One Africa Mission. Let us all together fight for a united Africa. That is the only way we can gain back our dignity as children of Africa. Now, thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you haven't joined our mission yet, please support us. We appreciate those of you because the support is so overwhelming. We really appreciate those of you who are supporting us, sharing our content. Those of you who have already subscribed, we appreciate, we thank you for that. And those of you who haven't really subscribed yet, take time out of your busy schedules and subscribe, support our mission. Let us all together fight for a united, better Africa, because with unity, we can gain back our dignity as children of Africa. So please, you can follow us on Facebook, One Africa Mission, the number One Africa Mission, and also on TikTok, One Africa Mission. Together, me and you can live a better, stronger Africa for the next generation of Africans, so that they will not be dying in the Mediterranean Sea. They will not be disrespected all over the world, everywhere they go. So thank you very much for coming around. So I want us to go and watch the full video. As I'm so excited, you know, when you listen to Captain Traore, it always brings you excitement. He spoke a lot, very long, but as I promise you, you're never gonna get tired listening to Captain Traore. You're never gonna get bored listening to Captain Traore because he's always on point, very intelligent, very articulate, know what he's talking about. So please, let us watch the full video, come back and analyze it. I don't think we're gonna say much after watching the video because you will understand everything that he's saying.
Take a listen at the Burkinabe President Captain Ibrahim Traore speak on the cautionary messages that he sent to Niger's former President Mohamed Bazoum months before he was overthrown from office, as well as Burkina Faso's current relationship with Ivory Coast and France. Mr. President, we are now going to talk about diplomacy. How is the cooperation going with the neighboring countries of Burkina? We have already talked about the AES, but with the other countries neighboring Burkina, how is the cooperation going? Well, it must be said, it goes more or less with certain countries. There is no problem, with others too. We must not hide. We cannot continue to be hypocritical. There are problems with certain countries, so that must be recognized. And we are on this, and we hope that everyone will understand, because at the beginning, we had a few problems. In October and November 2022, I will tell you clearly, we were approached by many emissaries, particularly from southern countries. Each time, it was perhaps telling us to somehow negotiate with the terrorists. Because they wanted a corridor, they just wanted to carry out the trafficking, but that meant leaving a portion of the land. That's it, and we told them to leave us alone. We said that it was not possible, because we are Burkinabes, we prefer to die with dignity, than to negotiate the conditions of our slavery. Negotiating with these people is negotiating the conditions of your slavery. So I understood the mentality of some, and I advised many that it was not a good idea to negotiate. But hey, we knew what was happening, things were happening in Niamey at the time, there you have it. Between President Bazoum, who was the center, and the terrorists, there were certain external agents, and then the messengers came towards us. I even sent messengers to President Bazoum in his time, who unfortunately did not receive the mission well, because he could not even give me a report, meaning it was a failure. We understood that there is a machine at work, and so we decided to fight. We categorically refused to negotiate with anyone, said we will fight. And these people who we advised not to follow this path, I think that today, many realized that we were right, because they began to be attacked. There is no possibility of negotiating with these people, so we have to get serious about fighting. Recently, you saw through the report, when the units arrived at Operation Wergen on the Ivorian border. I followed the operation closely, and even congratulated the soldiers for their discipline, because they did not have to stop and watch the terrorists 50 meters from them. Across the river, they could send rockets, just as they said. But out of discipline, and respect for instructions, they observed and then they turned around. But these are behaviors that are not good, it must be said, because Burkina has experienced this too. They lived here. We were a terrorists' rear base. What did it give? So these countries also need to understand that it doesn't work. And there are many other things with which I think we are starting to understand each other, but on the Ivory Coast side, there is development to be done. That's it. They have to come back to better feelings. All the destabilizers of Burkina are there, don't hide. Ivorian officials spoke badly of Burkina. On TV sets, you are a journalist. I don't think that in Burkina, a private channel insults the authorities of other countries openly, often in a vulgar way. It happens there, without saying a word. That's one of those who try to destabilize those who find themselves there. Well, at some point, we have to stop the hypocrisy, we have to tell the truth. There is a problem with the authorities in this country. Exactly today, Mr. President, what are your relations with President Alassane Ouattara? The report is, as I said, there is a problem. We don't have any particular contact, so there you go. We look at the situation, we follow it. I can't give you any more details. There you go, we follow it. That means, right after that, you did not have the opportunity to discuss with President Alassane Ouattara. At first, we talked a little on the phone, he even sent emissaries to me, it must be recognized. We talked, we hoped things would go in the right direction, but maybe we didn't access certain things, I don't know. But we can't fit ourselves into a certain mold. There we are, we came with a vision, a goal, and we have a mission. So as long as we are in our mold, we know that we will have difficulties with some people, so we don't know what happened. Otherwise there was contact, but it's broken down. And with people who started to go there, what we are looking for there has always been cooperation, and until today, it is that we are observing. Today, there were incidents on the border with Ivory Coast. We are therefore talking about Burkinabe soldiers who are detained by the Ivorian side and vice versa. So, what is the situation in this regard? It's a few minor incidents. That's not a problem for us. Remember that we are at war. So these are not incidents in our eyes. You may not understand what I said, but we went to war and we prepared for anything. So these are not incidents, they are minor. But you confirm that there are soldiers detained on both sides. Yes, the last time during the operation, there was a soldier and then a VDP that the Ivorian forces apprehended, and took to Abidjan. Before that, there were 2 Ivorian gendarmes who had made an incursion, but there were several incursions. I think that the last time of the meeting, they brought them in, they filed them with all the names. There have been more than 20 times when Ivorian forces have re-entered the territory, but we have never taken custody, but both were a special case, that's why we took it as a matter of information. And during the operation of the 15th battle, 2 of our soldiers went to buy cigarettes, I believe in a curiously inhabited village, 2 kilometers from the border, and the Ivorian forces took them. But I am curious to see that they were present, and they were able to apprehend the 2 soldiers, yet they did not react when all these terrorists entered their country. So, it's an isolated incident, we continue the fight. So, Mr. President, will the recent meeting between the ministers in charge of defense of the two countries perhaps help to defuse the situation? We hope, but I would say the ball is in their court. So they wanted the meeting, we didn't refuse. It went well, they had discussions, we are watching them now. There are people who are being pursued, who are there. There are people who are going to be prosecuted. They nevertheless had frank exchanges, and we're looking at them now. Mr. President, another diplomatic incident, if I can say so, 3 French personalities declared person non grata on Burkinabe territory, for subversive activity. What are we actually criticizing these 3 French people for? You know, when we say subversive activity, people are very smart, and very intelligent in their maneuver. Today, they have a lot of plans to destabilize Burkina. There is physical elimination, perhaps the manipulation of an armed fringe. There is also through the media, and the diplomacy of countries plays a part. So, it's telling people even through this, to be very careful of certain organizations which are here, which are financed by certain countries. Why? Because they're not here because of your beautiful eyes, but to give you money, and then ask you for reports in a certain format, and you do it. They are in the process of penetrating the world of culture. We follow them. Here are some artists, so on and so forth. We follow everything. They are in the process of penetrating the world of media. We follow, so that you can connect what they want you to do. I said earlier, so there's a lot of subversive activity going on. So we are not fooled, and people need to stop, because wanting to manipulate the people to turn them around, they need to stop that. It will be difficult and we will not have our tongues in our pockets. When the time comes, we will also explain to the people what happened to them. Currently, it is the art of manipulation. All their hope is to be able to manipulate the population, to lower the fervor, so that the people do not support the transition, and so that they can achieve their goal. And we're going to fight this. So what assessment do you make of the recent comments made by French General Lecointre? Yes, we followed, and they are preparing the mentality of their people, in case they have to intervene, or physically come here to fight us. So, they started preparing, and it's not now. Last year, take a listen at the Burkinabe press.
So yes, as you can see for yourself, Captain talk a lot. He talk about geopolitics, how like his neighbors, some of his neighbors are frustrating his country, their mission, because they came with a vision, a goal, and they have a mission. And then some of his neighboring countries, specifically he mentioned Ivory Coast, frustrating the mission. And then sometimes you ask yourself, why are we doing this to ourselves? I keep saying it. And he also talked about the media, some media men and women in Africa trying to tarnish the image of their transitional government. Why? Because at whose interest are they doing that? That is my question. And you know, the difference between we as Africans and that of the Europeans is that the Europeans are very greedy people. They are so greedy, they never get satisfied. You give them, they keep asking for more. And then we as Africans, for some reason, colonization has made us so selfish to the point that the little thing the African get, he doesn't want to share with anybody. He just wants to keep it to himself. The rest of you can go to hell. Sorry, but that is our sad reality today. That is why you see African leaders signing deals, signing contract, and giving out their country resources to the Western world, who are so greedy that they need more. And then the African, if he gets 0.1%, he's okay with that, because he's so selfish that to him, that 0.1% is enough for him and his family. The rest of you can go to hell. And that is what we are facing. Why Ivory Coast is frustrating the transitional government. He said two Burkinabe soldiers cross the border to go and get cigarettes, and the Ivory Coast military apprehended them. Why? And then he asked a question: if you are so alert to do that, why are you not helping them to fight the terrorists? Why is Ivory Coast not helping Burkina Faso? They are one people? If you know, that is what we are saying. We are not different people. So at whose interest are we doing this? At whose interest? France, no doubt about that. Ivory Coast is doing this because of France. And why are we doing that to ourselves? And that is the selfishness of the African that I'm talking about. Because France they've got enough from Africa, but still they are not satisfied, because the European by nature is greedy, and colonization has made we as Africans to so selfish. The Ivorians think that they are better than the Burkinabes, even though they are one people. A certain Frenchman came from Europe and divide you among themselves. Say you are Burkina Faso, you are Ivory Coast, you are Ghana. But as a matter of fact, you are one people. Why can't you come together and fight for your own collective good? Why must you frustrate the progress of the transitional government in Burkina Faso just to please France? Why, Africa? When are we going to wake up to this realization? And that is the reason why we are calling for a united Africa, because with unity we can overcome all this. I'm not going to talk much. Sometimes, you know, when you listen to Captain Traore, it gives you hope. But it's so disappointing to hear that some African leaders are still playing to the gallery of these Western criminals, colonial criminals. Why? Anyway, please, if you appreciate what we are doing, as I keep calling on you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate those of you who are supporting us. We really appreciate your support. And those of you who are watching, don't be greedy. Please, we are Africans. Let us support each other. Let us move our YouTube channel to 10K subscribers, and then our TikTok and our Facebook as well. Together, me and you can bring a better Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. That is how the Europeans are thinking. They think for the next generation. We must also do that. We shouldn't be selfish, thinking just about ourselves. We must also be greedy to get enough and leave some for the next generation of Africans. I thank you very much for coming around.